paras de pensar em mim, já nem consegue disfarçar. Mas tem que aguentar, assim vai matar mesmo viva. Não paras de pensar em mim, já nem consegue disfarçar. Mas tem que aguentar, vai matar mesmo. Agora eu quero ouvir. Mas eu preciso assim na frente. Eu preciso assim na verdade.
This was the last night of 2019, and me and Galopin thought it'd be pretty cool to look back on the best and the worst of 2020. We began by leaving Mindelo with our friend Carlos, where we sailed to the island of Santiago.
The open ocean is a place where many things can go on within. The lover can look behind and feel sad and remorse. The adventurer can look ahead for fame and fortune, and the sailor stays in a moment, adjusting to wind and waves. There was not much to distract us from our thoughts. The music was lamenting broken hearts. The weather was calm and easily manageable. And the conversation was a mix of feelings of love and the feelings of wind in the sails. It was also time to rest the abused body of too much liquor, good food, and girls.
Yes, we all needed to recuperate from the holidays, so our adventures began in Santiago, in the town of Tarrafal. There I hung out with a Dutch crew on this magnificent boat of theirs. We stayed there several weeks, so I had time to check out what was around the other side of the bay. As well, I made new friends and confirmed my appreciation for the local brew, or grog.
And when in Cabo Verde, do as Cabo Verdeanos do.
Nós temperata, bem temperata. Alex gosta de temperata.
Eventually, we sailed on down the coast on the recommendation of some fellow sailor friends.
The anchorage was just 8 miles down the coast. As soon as we arrived, we were greeted by local fishermen.
We're about to set anchor. Gonna meet the captain's family, the pirates here that have been here for a while. It's really calm and chill compared to Tarrafal. But there's nothing here. What are we gonna do?
Cruisers are few who come here, so you're greeted like a rock star. A few beers is a certain icebreaker and recommended.
Here I got to know a little more about a modern pirate family.
This bay is home to the captain and his family, as well as turtles, which you can see one swimming behind Galopin. As well, there are flocks of wild hens and groups of monkeys living in hills and trees. Captain Stefan has declared this home to his fleet of 2 steel ketches. He shares one boat with his wife Simone and 8-year-old daughter Sabai. 15-year-old Nefeli lives on the other boat, their oldest daughter. The captain is generous with anecdotes, theory and advice as you are invited aboard his vessel and generously offered lots of conversation, food and drink. They have been on the archipelago for several years, and before sailing to Cape Verde, they had lived in Senegal and the Gambia. The captain dreams of having a small fleet of ships, doing commerce with West Africa, shipping voyagers and tourists back and forth, while keeping a home base in this quiet, protected bay. His story is inspiring as well as a little crazy, But it's the crazy ones who make the world go round. The ones who change the rules and perhaps make the world a better place by doing so. They live by their own rules and live free as ever as people can do so. It's as if you're taken into a modern family fiction adventure story. But it's no fiction. This is real. And when staring out at the surroundings, it's difficult to differ between reality and surreality, especially when looking onto the setting sun behind the island of Fogo. I hope to be able to follow the family's story in the years to come.
This was one of the most distant and remote anchorages that we've been to, and it was quite a trek to get to town.
Well, here we are on this little desolate spot. It's actually not so desolate because as soon as we got to our anchorage, there were 2 more boats, then another one came later, and then a bunch of fishermen came, so nobody here now.
I found myself a local guide to get there a little bit faster.
Nee's home was at the end of the trail, and he invited me in. He showed me his humble home and the mess his macaque monkey made of a bag of flour. That's why he keeps him tied up and calls him Pirate. He domesticated him from the wild. Nee also showed me some of the art he created, offered some water, and a shot of pure sugarcane honey, incredibly sweet and nourishing. It's his energy power bar. It had taken less than an hour to get here.
And I will always remember this town as being the friendliest in all my travels in Cape Verde.
Virginia, Mirko, Capicha, Mia, and all the rest were some of the most warmest and kindest people I've ever met. The further away from tourists we are, the closer in we seem to be to Cape Verde life. We tried to get some work done, but had a party instead.
And it even got better.
We had the men and kids aboard. Now it was the girls' turn. We turned on the music, then the camera, and then just beautiful things happened. After a couple of hours, we all went to town and got back early. We had plans for the morning.
In the morning, me and Galopin thought we were in for a smooth ride.
No, no! Wow! Oh la vache!
Better than the gym. It smells better too. What a high, what a rush.
But we were well rewarded in a swell anchorage in the days to come. Or was it?
This is a really nice anchorage, but it's only as good as your anchoring. I had to check, because at times I could hear the chains scraping on rocks. As well, wind and tide differences during day and night would spin my boat in different positions. And there was a potential problem. The chain had wrapped around this rock. It would probably not lift up if and when I needed to go. It was about 7 meters deep. I needed air, but doing all right down there for an old dude like me, not acting his old age. But back down to check on the anchor itself. Well, no worries as usual about the mantas digging in well.
Tudo coisa mais doce, lá é saborear. Tudo coisa mais tarde, tudo coisa mais doce, ali é saborear. Tudo coisa mais tarde, tudo coisa mais doce, ali é saborear.
This song is by Cape Verde. It will always give me tears of wanting, or saudade as they say here.
We even went to the big city against all warnings, but we had a plan.
We got our own colorful pirate crew.
Listen, my name is Lee, surf for the ladies. Come ride the wave, come ride the wave.
Lee Surf from Boston, Massachusetts. From Boston or from?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Surf, oh man, praia, representing Tyrene, represents Portugal. Nós da sopa de ouro, não fala tudo língua. We can even speak Chinese. Chongo nangai dai koitoi. Oh, we got a situation. Look at her go. Capitão de barco, eu te apresentar duas mulheres de Deus. Olha, amor de meu mano, meu amor. E vamos para a praia da cidade velha. Vamos passar a sabe, vamos para a discoteca, vamos brincar. E acabou-se. Tchau.
Look at this beautiful, calm bay to drop anchor. But you can't. Thieves will swim out and rob you, even if you're on the boat. It happened to my friend Eduardo from the MacTube Whale Project. So we came here to the fishing dock, with the fishermen. A safe haven from the petty thieves. But even here, the locals told us to beware. And these are the accommodations for Galopin.
Somos uma empresa cabo-verdiana, a empresa chama-se Cabo Verde Ocean SA, é uma empresa que ganhou a concessão da exploração do cais do Porto da Praia. O nosso trabalho, essencialmente, é prestar um serviço a todos os operadores da pesca, desde os armadores, peixeiras e tudo agentes que estão relacionados com o negócio da pesca. Também temos um serviço que criamos para oferecer às embarcações de recreio, iates e outros tipos de embarcações de pesca desportiva, que podem utilizar o nosso cais para fazer a atracação com segurança e também podem usufruir dos serviços que nós oferecemos, desde o fornecimento de água potável, energia elétrica, e nós acolhemos as embarcações aqui e damos condições de segurança e a um preço simbólico.
Pride turned out to be great, but we had to get back, and it's never that easy.
I took a third reef on the mainsail and furled to Genoa. The motor kept churning, and this is what it's like for the next several hours.
then the pandemic began to swallow up the world. Well, what's it like here in Cape Verde during this global crisis, crise mondiale, as they say here, this pandemic, this corona, COVID-19, whatever we want to call it, as we all know it. Well, it's pretty cool. It's pretty mellow, actually, here. And it's quite stunning. It's quite beautiful. Wind has calmed down. It's relaxed. And nice anchorage here. I'm a little further out than usual, but I like it. Stunning views. And the marina's pretty locked tight. Nobody can come in or out unless you have a special badge which allows you access. And then the harbor is patrolled, and anyone coming into the harbor is scrutinized and checked. If they come from Europe, they have to be in quarantine for 8 to 10 days. And then today, me, Pesh, this guy named Norbert, and Rus are gonna go out to try to salvage this boat, which belongs to Norbert, a German guy who friggin' beached down on the rocks on this little deserted island called Iyarazu. So it's going to be an adventure to go see what we can salvage and what we can do. So that's it. This is coronavirus update here in Mindelo, Cape Verde. Otherwise, I keep myself entertained, invite friends, you know, make the best of life, man. What are you going to do? We never got to go to the boat wrecked on the reefs. Borders were shut down, and the lost boat's owner was kind enough to offer me his spot at the marina for free.
It's a real game changer for me and Galopin. Shore power, water, and the luxury of a hot shower. Mooring here is an acquired skill. It took me a few days to figure out how to secure Galopin. Strong winds hill the boat from side to side, and tides and swell bounce you like a trampoline. But I had plenty of room around me. Norbert had the best spot in the marina. Too bad the floating bar wasn't open. So close and yet so closed. The population was allowed to go out to get essential. I'm not drunk here, the pontoon moves under you like an earthquake. The marina was dutifully guarded 24 hours a day by men like Tit here. He's happy about this crisis. He gets to spend more time on his farm because he doesn't have to work weekends at the discotheque. Mindelo, which is usually alive with music and children's laughter, was eerily quiet. No more ice cream, no more sports bar, and certainly no more events and parties. A few stores were open, foodstuff mainly, as well as to-go meals. These streets are the main thoroughfares of the city, packed with people during recurring celebrations. Now there's just taxis, buses, and a bike here and there. And this is Rua Lisboa, the main street of the city. It was packed with thousands during New Year's Eve. People were overflowing into the side streets. Yep, the cultural capital of Cape Verde was quiet. Yet you could almost hear the lament of Morna music. Cesaria Vora's song Saudade was never so apropos.
Then in the middle of all this, I connected with a selected group of unforgettable friends for a mind-boggling good time.
Make it all right. Yeah, I get that, you got a history, but I don't wanna think about no other than us. They look at me, I'm in a bad situation. Look at him, he's got a bad reputation. They be looking at us, thinking we are too much. Look at me, I'm in a bad situation. Look at him, he's got a bad reputation. They be looking at us. Why do I need to be good all the time? I'm wrapped around his finger, but he is mine. Don't care what they say. too late anyway. Why do I need to be good all the time? Nah, 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 no drama, yeah. Nah, 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 no drama, yeah. Nah, nah, nah.
Lest I forget, there was a downside to the good times.
Yep, rats are hungry and coming aboard. Restaurants are closed, so not so much rubbish to feast on. And this guy found some poorly stored flour. What can I say but... He even tried to get into an empty can of powdered milk. A friend of mine lent me 2 rat traps. The rat had been on his boat and migrated to me in Galopin. They seem like they'll do the job.
Traps never caught the rats, but the music and dancing and fun drove them away. And as far as COVID, well...
I just want to get this clear. There are about 15 of us isolated on boats. We're all COVID-free. As for locals, well, there's only been 1 case tested positive, which then tested positive for pneumonia, then again for COVID. So no one is really sure, but in a city of less than 100,000, it's only 1 case. And no one has come on to the island from the outside. Those of us here are 100% COVID-free. Now let's make some noise. Shake the ship and the rats out. Go, ladies, go.
After a month of lockdown, Mindelo slowly started coming back to life.
Me, have been truly fortunate to have been welcomed here as well as accepted. I will never be a Cape Verdean, but I learned to become a Crioulo. I can speak some Creole. I learned to love their music, their grog, their food, their culture and beauty. As a sailor, I understand living in a present. A sailor's plan is written in sand. We never know what is coming tomorrow. We may have gone through a storm, and perhaps tomorrow will be even worse. So living for today and not worrying about tomorrow is part of our motto too. At least, certainly is mine. It is best said in Crioulo. Na vida gente ganha, gasta e que pensa amanhã.
Back to normal, Mindelo. It's cool. We love it here.
That's just part of the 2020 Winded Voyage highlights. Don't worry, there's more to come.